So it creates this kite energy with Uranus and Algo in Taurus. Come on, it's time to work. Say, come on, it's time to work. Yeah. Okay. Let's stay focused here. The week of September 23rd. This is Taffy and G, and we're going to talk about the week. We got some kite energy happening in the chart, and then we have a few planets that are moving into new signs. So we usually feel that, right? And so we'll talk about which planets those are, the signs, and how that shows up in our life, like how we can recognize it. And then we'll wrap it all up by looking and combining all those little details, all those little nuggets together to see what the hell does it all mean anyway. September 23rd and the following 7 days. And you see here on the chart, I have Uranus and I have Pluto. So this is a midpoint. So that means Uranus up in the sky and Pluto up in the sky. Those are transits, right? And then we look for where do they meet at the halfway point in the sky. It's kind of like that Libran energy, like I'm going to meet you halfway, you're going to meet me halfway, and this is that middle point. And that would be called the midpoint. And so we're going to look at that because it's relevant. We're going to go to Venus. Right at the beginning of the week, we're going to go and shoot over to Venus. Beginning of the week, we got Venus on Sunday. Venus was at 29 degrees in Libra energy. Okay, so she was like at 29. I think it was even like a Friday, Saturday, and then switching into Scorpio on Sunday and Monday. So that's a change. Venus is your values and your money. Okay, it's my desire energy. It's your creature comforts. It's peace and beauty and art and love. Like that's all Venus stuff. And when she was in Libra, Venus rules Libra. So she was all about being able to compromise and to meet somebody halfway and really encouraging. And Venus in Libra was about balance. Well, when Venus moves into Scorpio, first of all, Venus is a little bit weakened in Scorpio. So all the Venusian keywords, peace, beauty, love, can we just get along? You know, if it goes into Scorpio, Scorpio is a little on the feisty side. It's Mars energy. It wants to go to war. It wants to have a battle. So Venus goes there. So can that look like feminine energy becoming a little feisty and not being as, not being so willing to compromise? Absolutely. Venus by nature wants to be pleasant. She wants to be cordial. She wants to be, she's all about being very sociable, meaning I can walk onto the scene, complete strangers. I can be polite and professional. I can make small talk. I can be pleasant because I want to just get along. Like that's Venus. I don't want to have to necessarily pick a side. I want to kind of be that mediator. That's Venus energy. Look at beautiful Venus, Taffy. Yeah. So in Scorpio now, the flavor is going to change, right? Venus rules Taurus and Libra. So Venus is about my money and my desires. And Scorpio energy takes on more of a this is our money and our desires. And Scorpio is willing to fight for what it values. It's willing to fight for our values. Soldiers are Scorpio energy. People who experience lots of trauma and tragic energy. And I don't know if it's because Taffy's in here, but the lighting's getting weird and it's like blinding in my eye because it's reflecting back on the screen. I don't know. So that's what the change is going to be. And so for the first day, Monday, right, you see Venus is conjunct Haumea here. That little, it's hard to see it, but there's this little being at 0 degrees and 52 minutes here. You see this? Haumea, really fascinating energy. Similar Scorpio energy, which is change and transformation, right? And it is about, I'm going to fight for what I want to fight for because it's Mars and Pluto, but it represents changes on a deep level. And it's usually pretty freaking intense. So Haumea has been here at this 0 degrees for all of 2024. Okay. And Haumea represents its feminine energy. So this is two feminine energies, Venus. Venus is still feminine when she's in Scorpio, right? but she can take on some of the masculine qualities of Mars. She kind of might want to get with Mars even, right? Kind of be involved in Mars-like things. So Venus might want to get involved in kickboxing or fighting in some way, or, working out and being a little bit more physical. Um, Definitely feisty, right? And some would even say, um, if there's any frustration or impatience or anger, they say that when Venus gets into Scorpio energy, it's more like a sexual frustration, right? So it's Venus who might have some pent up energy and not know what to do with it, type of thing, right? Creative, be really creative. That's what Venus should do when she's in Scorpio, or if she's got a partner and and they're in a compatible moment and mood, and they can figure out ways to, have fun together. So Humea conjunct Venus, Humea, feminine energy, goddess energy of fertility and childbirth is Humea. She has the power to create where there has been destruction. She has the power to kind of also be like that Phoenix rising energy. So Hawaiian goddess energy, Humea, Haumea. She is about the unity of opposites, unifying opposing sides. And so Venus is here. I love this in terms of hopefully there can be peace wherever there are battles and wars going on. We're striving for peace because Venus likes to bring peace. So it's seeking the larger order in what seems to be random. And it's also the drive towards ultimate peace and harmony. It's feminine, healing, and creative energy. Okay. So that's Humea. And Venus kicks off the week in Scorpio, but she's conjunct Humea. Now, the thing about Venus this week, it's a little strange. Venus is moving fast in Scorpio. She's moving 1 degree a day. So by Wednesday, she's at 3 degrees. By Sunday, she's already at 9 degrees roughly. So you see how fast she's moving, right? We're talking Monday to Sunday. Actually, this is Monday to Monday. By the following Monday, she's at 9 degrees already. So she's booking through Scorpio, right? So let's back up on the chart a little bit and see some of those aspects of Venus as she's in Scorpio energy. That's water. She's going to send some beneficial trine energy to water. And that's going to be Pisces energy from 0 to 9 degrees. All right? Because that's where she is this week. And then the other water is Cancer energy, 0 to 9 degrees. So that means not this week, but the following week. The following week's video, we'll talk about it when Venus and Mars are trining. Because you see, Mars is already at 11 here, but it's a lot slower of a mover than Venus, okay? But Venus is only going to get to 9. I mentioned Venus hitting 3 degrees like on Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday. I want you to also pay attention to Mercury. So let's go take a look at where Mercury is. You see Mercury, she's cleared the retrograde degrees by now, far out of the retrograde zone. Here she's at the beginning of the week at 25. I've got the arrow pointed towards right here, which is like 28, 29 degrees. This is on Wednesday of this week. So I'm pointing that out because Venus is like at 3 degrees on Wednesday, okay? And that's important because Venus has now pulled away from Humea a little bit. You follow? That Mercury at 28 is going to be important. So we're going to kind of write that in here. Let's just go like that. Mercury at 28, and that's in Virgo. Remember Virgo energy, right? What's Virgo? The details, the day-to-day routines. It can be pets, can be your gut and your health, your pet's health. We think of projects, tasks, to-do lists. We think of our job, our day-to-day routines. Our job is part of our day-to-day routines, the tasks and the projects at your own job. Okay? Now, the sun becomes part of this story as well. Okay? So we're going to stay here for a minute with 28 degrees, 29 degrees in Virgo. All right, we're going to stick there for a second because I got a bigger object. Well, you see the kite that I have drawn in here in the chart? That's Mercury at 28, 29 degrees. So it creates this kite energy with Uranus and Algo in Taurus, money, values, and banking, It's think Venus energy here, right? We're thinking Venus, my desire, what's important to me, okay? Who's important to me? Natural resources. And then, of course, Venus is here at 3. And Venus here at 3, natural resources, but shared natural resources. It's our values in Scorpio because Taurus is mine, Scorpio is ours. So the 3 degrees there comes down to whatever you can think of as far as natural resources. There's a big list of it other than things we have to dig and mine for and drill for, right? This can be our values, our shared property, right? Our shared wounds, our shared traumas and tragedies. There's history with Scorpio energy. It's deep, it's intense. It's not surfacey, we go to school together and we talk sometimes. No, these are deep bonds, deeply bonded energy. Okay. So you got that trine going on there. And then across the way, another trine from the Mercury at 2829 is Pluto. Pluto in Capricorn, government and business, corporations. This is corporations. This is Pluto making changes, abuses of power, corporations, business, and government. All right. And Pluto is in the retrograde, so it's definitely talking to Mercury here. It's definitely talking and sending trine energy with Uranus. We talked about this at the very beginning of September. These two started talking. With this Uranus at this retrograde, and now it's getting closer to Algo at 26. This might have already showed up in the first previous weeks of September, because it was a Uranus retrograding, which is surprise and shocks to the system. What system? To banking, the tech world for sure. So we think of airlines, we think of digital money, but we also think of digital information, like data breaches. There's been a lot of data breaches. Yeah, it was like at the end of August, even the month of August. And then the end of August, there were some major data breaches, like social security numbers with names and addresses and like the whole 9 yards. So data breach, right? And so we think of security, online security even, because Scorpio energy mixed in with that, as in our values. You follow? Our shared values. And Mercury, information, Mercury. You see? But this can also be like social media stuff, because Mercury is the markets, but it's the online markets, the e-commerce, but it's also like the housing market, it's the stock market, like Mercury rules all of that. And so that was kind of a big part of the new moon story at the beginning of the month. I was hoping to look at this chart and be like, okay, can we breathe? Can we kind of chill out and relax? And I think we can, honestly. I think when I look at this chart and I see these connecting planets, when I see Pluto and Mercury and I see Taurus and the late degrees, that's stability. That's earth energy. Capricorn, corporations and business, my long-term goals, my long-term financial security and stability. Taurus is my values, my money in the bank, my desires, my love, my creature comforts. And then Virgo. Virgo is the jobs, the job data, the details, the projects that I do at my job. This is also domestic energy and service industry, the service industry. Okay. I didn't connect the trine part. You see this? This would be the grand earth trine, that purple triangle. The kite comes in because we have 2 sextiles connecting at the top point. The kite, this is the top part of the kite. So it's Pluto, sextile, 60 degrees away to Neptune, and look what else we have. At 28 degrees, that is a midpoint for Uranus and Pluto. So this is deep changes, intense changes, things that require us to create a new system even. And Pluto can be considered security, right? Because it's like behind the scenes. It's like very much below the surface and unseen would be Pluto energy. And technology, Uranus. It's also authority figures, by the way, Uranus energy, people in charge, but it's space, it's astrology, it's group energy, it's the internet, literally, right? Totally the internet. And so it's conjunct. Neptune is conjunct that. This is at 28:26, 28 degrees 26 minutes, and then the midpoint is 28 degrees 23 minutes. So because of Neptune in a retrograde, it is now spot on, completely, totally, 100% exact conjunct, just about shy of 3 minutes, not degrees, 3 minutes of that midpoint. So that midpoint, really powerful stuff. And it's after something has basically broken down because it's Pluto, something that's been broken down, and there should be a new system set up. There should be a new system set up. Now in Pisces, this is institutional energy. It can also be religion. It can also be Hollywood and the movies and creativity and prayer and faith. Think of all the other Pisces keywords. Surrender, right? What are some other ones? Think of the Pisces keywords, punch them in down below for me. I'm going to read directly the Uranus-Pluto midpoint from the software because it is at the tip. If you look closely at this, this is at the tip of the kite, which is where your focus is supposed to be. If you have a kite in your chart, especially if you have something around this 28 degrees, right? I would just go 2-degree orb before and after. This is it. This is the point of focus, is at the head of the kite. That's where you channel and use and combine all this focused energy. You see, it's all focused. And Mercury is the strong opposition represented by this black line here. Information in my mind and the tasks and the projects opposing Neptune. Because information can get really fuzzy when Mercury is in opposition to Neptune. It can get confusing and fuzzy. And sometimes we just have to have faith to wait things out and to see how it washes out in the end. And so that might be some stuff we're kind of working with here. Wednesday and Thursday, even Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, this is this strong opposition to Neptune and the Uranus-Pluto midpoint, about your capacity for innovation and sudden changes with your transformative and regenerative powers. So you see the Uranus and the Pluto keywords combined there. When this midpoint's activated, it intensifies your drive for revolutionary changes and empowerment, making it especially powerful in endeavors that require breaking through an old paradigm and initiating significant transformations. This can be particularly effective in technological advancements, radical social movements, or any project that aims to dramatically alter the status quo. So if you're leading a startup, this is an example, if you're leading a startup focused on disruptive technologies, involve possibly an activism that challenges deep-seated societal issues, or conducting research that could lead to major heartbreaks, that could lead to major breakthroughs. This midpoint provides the dynamic energy and transformative potential needed to effect profound and lasting changes within society. So the other thing, now that I've read that I want to add to this is this Pisces energy with Neptune here is for sure public figures. Okay, so we can kind of absolutely see globally around the world, especially at the beginning of September, there was a lot of global energy, a lot of Aquarius and Uranus energy. And Uranus is part of this kite because it connects right there with a supportive sextile from Uranus. Slow mover. Uranus and Algo, though, by the way. So the Algo piece also needs to be spoken about. We need a reminder on the algo piece. It's talked about as usually very negative energy. Desire is really strong with algo, like it's my way or the highway. It's in Taurus. So it's considered a double star system with phases of greater and lesser brightness. In old beliefs, it was held to be dangerous and difficult when it was darker. In modern times, it's connected to bringing what is subconscious to the light. It unleashes great passions. So, normally, then, what this gives us is a combination of shocks and surprises in the areas of our lives where we refuse to change, where we are holding on tightly to what it is that we desire or to who it is that we desire. It's algo. It unleashes great passion and desire energy. With Uranus there, you just want to be cautious, okay? Be cautious in the way that you express what it is that's important to you because Uranus tends to want to shock and surprise others. Okay. So that's a combination that is very powerful because Pluto is part of the story. Political figures, public figures, corporate figures. This would be government figures, CEOs. Was there an adjustment made in the interest rates? Did Jerome Powell take care of that? Were the interest rates, uh, was it a bigger number than what they said, or was it not done at all? Was that the shock and surprise? I'm recording this in August, so um, but yeah, when I saw the beginning of September's charts, it was like there was definite shock and a surprise coming. Could it have been to the housing market? Absolutely. Can it have to do with political figures? Because in the U.S., yeah, we're in an election, so there's a lot of you know talking going on, a lot of talking going on, and some of it is yeah, some of it's super insane conversations. Friday, then, we have Mercury going into Libra. Yeah. So Mercury will enter Libra energy Friday. Okay. Now, the other thing is I have the sun drawn up on the chart, and it's good to see this because this chart's drawn on Monday and the sun is at 1 degrees there. So as the week moves along, the sun moves 1 degree a day. The sun is going to be conjunct the south node this week. So that's like another big release and somebody who's in charge. It's in Libra, courtroom energy, lawyer energy, right? Scales of justice, business partnerships, somebody in charge though. Now, this on the large scale, this is diplomacy, this is diplomatic partnerships, so it's global. When we talk about it like that, we think of yeah, an authority figure because it's the sun. So the sun is going to catch up to that. And the sun is starting to aspect it. We're going to get like the 4 degree mark. So you're again, this is like Wednesday. The sun is at 3 degrees, right? The sun will be at 3 degrees. Venus will be at 3 on Wednesday, and the sun will be at 3 degrees. So I think the energy that I already talked about with this kite, Wednesday and Thursday and Mercury, I think this is when the sun is also part of the story because the sun is close enough to be aspecting the south node. It's close enough. And the south node on Wednesday at that time is in a retrograde movement, which makes it stronger, which then tells me absolutely this is that. It's close enough. Okay. So authority figures, somebody in charge. Remember, Libra energy can also be the significant one-on-one relationships like that I'm in with somebody, like marriage partnerships, not just business partnerships, but also diplomatic partnerships and lawyers, somebody that you work with one on one. So, the last but not least on here, I have drawn up the can of worms. You see that? You know the name of that one? Who knows her name? Yep, it's a female. And there she is on the chart, Pandora's box. Now, I have the moon here because on Wednesday, the Wednesday we've been talking about, this Pandora's box and the moon will be conjunct at this degree, at 28 degrees. So the Wednesday, Thursday seems like the biggest deal for this week, to try to compress everything and try to make it a little bit, easier to look at and to digest it all. The moon and Pandora's box, 28 degrees, and Pandora's box being in the sign of Cancer. Well, the moon rules the sign of Cancer. It's family, it's feminine energy, it's emotions. Pandora also represents feminine energy, right? And when you read it, like the meaning of it, it talks about, opening Pandora's box and all the evils of the world come out and all that's left is hope. So homes, the public, family, the past, and history. Lots of emotions involved here. The moon will be conjunct on Wednesday. It's Wednesday, I believe, like later in the day on that day. Yeah, I think around like 4 p.m. Central Time. And that's just to give you a heads up for people who have a really sensitive moon in your chart. If some of you have like a Pisces moon or, wherever your moon is, you got to kind of figure out, do I have a highly sensitive moon? And if you do, this would be probably a thing. It's not a long thing though, but it does happen at the same time that all this other stuff happens on Wednesday. You see? So this looks like the event for this week. What does it all mean now? Well, I'm still sticking to the major changes going on and the transformations happening within government and business and possibly CEOs, politicians, public figures. Absolutely, because all of this points to that. Here is the other thing. On Thursday, Uranus makes a move. It's still, of course, in Taurus and it's retrograding, but it changes degrees. And that's a big deal. If you follow the degrees in astrology, it goes from 27 to 26, which is why I spoke about Algo, because it talks about the extreme desires, and that's on Thursday. But because it's already conjunct, right? It's already been conjunct, so that it might not be like as extreme. At least this is my hope, because we've already been dealing with it since the beginning of September. As soon as Uranus went retrograde, it's close enough. It's 1 degree away. It's already touching it. However, in a retrograde, Uranus energy, science and airlines and mass transportation, right? Like that's all a thing. Like when we had the Aquarius full moon in August, it was like, okay, what's going to happen? So maybe there were some of the data breaches. I know there was on the day of the full moon or the day before, there was a yacht, a billionaire's yacht. I forget where they were. I don't know if it was in Italy, in the waters off of Italy. A billionaire's yacht was found or something, and there was 6 or 7 people found dead on board. And it caught my attention because the billionaire was like this major tech CEO. Well, that would be all of this. That would fall into that category. Boats, yachts are all Aquarius and Uranus energy, mass transportation, okay, and inventions. So maybe some investigations going into that, but Thursday, 26 degrees. And 26 is going to be important because that's the money degree. It's not the only degree that's a money degree, but 26 is a money degree. It is a Taurus degree, and that's more desire. You work in the government, if you work in, with a major corporation, then I guess this would be a big part of your life. But the degrees, the earth degrees, 27, 28, 29 degrees is where we've got Uranus and Capricorn and Pluto and Mercury. Okay, and then everything starts to change and switch up. Either way, September is a month of major changes. All right, you got any questions? Comment below. See you in the next one. You take care. Remember, I always appreciate your time. Bye-bye. I gotta go find Taffy. I know she's in here somewhere, cutting ribbon.